For BWYellowJackets.com, I'm Brendan Gulick, joined by Tom Spencer, the head coach of our Yellow Jackets softball program, who is very excited for the season. When I say who, I don't just mean Tom, but I mean the team in general. This is a season in which the Yellow Jackets feel there is a lot of upside, and I know you're ready to get rolling.
Yes, we are. In fact, we were just talking yesterday in practice. My one assistant, Joe Tagliarina, brought to the girls, it's been 289 days since we lost that last game to Otterbein, keeps out of the conference tournament last year. So, you know, we got some things ready to do this year.
We got a lot of things to dive into. Why don't we start off the top, just kind of a general team overview. I think probably one of your biggest strengths this year, for the first time in a while, it sounds like you really like what you've got in the circle. It's
definitely our strength this year, and I would say it's been about 6 or 7 years since we've had this. The strength of our team has been in the circle. We have three freshmen coming in to pitch. We have a sophomore who was second team all-conference last year, Abby Kozart. We have a couple juniors, so we're really excited about it. I would say we possibly have the best pitching staff in the conference this year.
And when you think about it big picture, right, I mean, how often do you see teams that end up winning the conference tournament or at a minimum make a run to a conference championship? It always seems pretty important that they can rely on whoever is pitching on any given game.
Especially in softball. Baseball as well, but excuse me, especially in softball. Last year, Ohio Northern ran through the conference tournament basically because they had the best pitcher in the league. Position by position, we were just as good, if not better than them, as other teams were, but when you have that one ace in the circle, it makes a huge difference.
So we're looking forward to seeing the Jackets collectively get out there and pitch this year. How about offensively? You can't win if you don't score, and last year you did have some pretty good offensive games, but you also had some where you were left maybe a little frustrated. Where do you hope the biggest step is taken as a whole team offensively this year?
Well, we hit decent last year. We just sometimes had trouble putting the hits together, stringing them together. We're not a power hitting team. We're not going to go out there and hit 15, 20 home runs and erase a three-run deficit with one swing of the bat. We need to create runs. We're going to work on base running a lot this spring before we go out to Arizona. We're going to try to take the extra base. We're going to have to go one base at a time, but we're going to be very aggressive because that's how we feel we need to be successful.
So you mentioned Arizona, and that's kind of been the staple for your program, really. Most of the time you don't find yourself going to Florida. You go west. A couple years ago you went way west out to Hawaii. That was a cool trip. But a chance to go to Arizona and get the season off to a good note, weather-wise, for sure, and to see some good competition. What most excites you about that trip, and where do you typically see the biggest growth off the field on that trip?
That's a time where, we'll go off the field first, that's a time where our kids really become bonded as a team. Unlike soccer and football and volleyball, when those kids come to campus, especially the newcomers mixing with the returners, they have a week or two before school even starts where they're actually living with one another in the dorms and they get to know each other before school even starts. Our kids, when they come and start practicing in the fall, they don't have that opportunity. We have 16 practices, we're out to practice, and then we're kind of back in our dorms in our own little world. This is our spring training time where we're living with each other for an entire week in the same hotel. So that's kind of when they bond as a team. So that's the exciting part of it. The competition out there, we're playing 7 games, I believe, against D3 schools and 3 games against NAIA schools. One of them actually happens to be one of the top 10 NAIA schools in the country. So we're kind of looking forward to seeing exactly how we fit in with all that great competition.
How about some of the other schedule highlights? Everybody always enjoys playing OAC games, obviously, with every game and every doubleheader. It feels like there's a lot riding on it. But beyond the OAC and aside from the trip out west, are there any non-conference games, maybe against teams in the region, that you think could be a real barometer for where you guys might stack up this year?
Yeah, I think Case is probably one of the big ones. They did really well last year. In fact, I believe they went all the way to the end of the Division III World Series. We battled them tough here. Last year, they beat us the first game. Second game, we were up on it by 3 or 4 runs when the game got called because of darkness. In fact, that's when I thought we saw our team starting to turn the corner a little bit last year. And so I think that's one big doubleheader that's going to tell us where we stand.
Awesome. That's always a fun one, too, because you get a lot of kids on both sides of town. And certainly Case has a bigger recruiting footprint nationally because of the kind of institution it is. But definitely get some local kids there, too. Let's talk about the makeup of the team. How about we start with the younger kids? You mentioned that there were some freshman pitchers coming in. Who stood out to you from a freshman perspective, somebody that maybe fans could enjoy seeing this year?
Well, from the pitching standpoint, we have 3 freshmen, and they're all going to see action. Nikki Camerati, who's a local grower from Holy Name. Hannah Willing, who's another local girl out in Ravenna. And we got Ashley Matusik, who's down from Hoban, down in Akron. Ashley will see a lot of time, a lot at bats also. She'll probably get some DH action. Hannah and Nikki and Ashley will all see their turn in the circle to go along with their upperclassmen.
That'll be fun. How about from the upperclassmen side? Obviously, experience is important, right? You got to have kids that have made runs in games before. Where do you hope that the experience, in particular, of this upper class group can try to lead you forward?
I hope just not so much on the field, but off the field. I'm hoping that they can step up and keep everybody positive and teach the younger kids how we like to do things here. I mean, we have a group of 5 seniors, so we have enough kids there for the underclassmen to look up to. So hopefully they'll step up. Even we want them to step up on the field, of course, but especially off the field. That's where we need it.
When you think about the competitive balance of the conference, where do you think the conference is this year compared to other years during your tenure?
I think it's wide open. I think from 1 to 10, it's strong. I mean, anyone can beat anyone on any given day. Last year, like I said, we knew Ohio Northern had the best pitcher. Audubon had a real good team, and they're still very good. But they lost a couple key players, and I honestly think any one of 5 or 6 teams could win the conference.
Well, it sure would be fun come tournament time if you got a whole bunch of teams that have a really good chance to win it. Tournament time's always fun come May.
Definitely.
How about from a recruiting perspective? The last thing I want to talk about is the field, right? You had a brand new facility last year, and it was easily the crown jewel in the conference. Now you've had an entire recruiting season with that at your disposal. What kind of difference did it make for you?
It's a game changer. I've been recruiting the same for the last 5-6 years, and we talked about our lack of pitching, right? Well, it's not that we haven't gone after pitchers. We just had trouble getting some of them. But when kids come to see that field, that just kind of seals the deal that they want to come here. And that's why we have 3 great freshman pitchers that have come this year, along with another 7 newcomers in various other positions. So it really and truly is a game changer, and hopefully it will continue to be.
Can't wait to see the team get out there.
Neither can I. Appreciate it.
We'll be out in Arizona here pretty soon. Good luck to the Yellow Jacket softball team this spring. Of course, we'll follow them along the way here at bwyellowjackets.com.